So, hello. I don't have a nice presentation, a nice slide with my photo, so I'll just tell you who I am. I'm Alexander, lead game designer for World of Warships, and the feature we want to present you called Naval Training Center. And the name is like not so final. It may go like this, but it also may change a bit. And we are planning to release this feature in 8.7. So I'll I don't know how the regular flow of presentation goes, but since I try to cover the feature wholly, including why we're doing it, what for we're doing it, and what problems we're expecting and how we plan to solve them, I suggest you listen to the end and then ask your questions. First thing first, what this feature is about. This feature is about possibility to strengthen individual ship further than you can now. Basically, make them better in terms of battle effectiveness. And second is kind of bringing it's not new, gameplay by giving a good incentive to revisit old favorite ships that you've probably long forgotten. So, how leveling works, like this part about making your ship stronger. You have 3 levels for every tier 6 plus ship. So starting with tier 6, tier 7, and above. All ships in the game. Branches, premiums, high school fleet, other lane, arpeggio, whatever you can imagine. Except test ships, probably, and event ships. Because they're temporary. All the rest, they have those upgrades. 3 levels. And you get them by spending new currency, which works fairly familiar to how experience works, with one important difference. Experience exists in 2 forms. It's either tied to a specific ship or is free. This one, instead of tying it to a specific ship, we tied it to a specific nation. So you're spending like American XP. And so it can be national or it can be free. I'll answer one more question directly. You can't convert one into another. Free is just fixed percentage that gives you some freedom in terms of what you want to level. So you have 3 levels. You level them by spending currency. How you earn this currency? That's where the fun starts. So, that's by the way screenshot in Russian how it's gonna look. So there is like an American destroyer Sims. There is like 3 levels. First one is already developed. And you can see here on the card of the ship, there is like cool flame behind it showing that you already started upgrading it. And in the top corner, you see like American experience that can be used for that and free experience. Currently it's small books, maybe they may actually stay the same. So this is how the interface of those 3 levels is gonna look. So how you earn those currencies? You earn them by forgetting and regrinding branches back from scratch. And it is what it is. If you probably, I'm sure you remember how we've done with CVs, where you could forget all them and get like hefty amount of free experience. The pattern is exactly the same. Like you forget ships and you get the reward. But the only difference that this time reward is not given to you immediately. So like if you forgot CV branch, you're not getting immediate reward. Instead of that, on the ships of the branch that you've forgotten, you receive small, let's call them snowflakes for simplicity, because they work in the same manner. You get snowflakes, and when you grind back through the forgotten branch and gather them, you receive this new resource. It's going to be limited, so for 2 reasons. First, we don't want to we want to level the playing field to make sure some of you guys probably sitting on like 5 zillion free experience. So you can just, forget whole port, get it back and do it again and again. And that's why it's going to be very kind of strictly limited. So you have you can regrind 3 branches per season, and the season is few months. And then you basically have to wait until next season starts. And some other possibilities, some other activities may possibly reward this in the future. We were thinking about various things like Clan Wars rewarding, or top tier ranked rewarding, or something similar. But we don't have any plans right now, and it's unlikely that it will happen soon. we want to keep the loop and see how it works first. So that's how it's gonna look. When you're basically like nuking your ship branch, you drop the progress. You basically forget all those ships all the way up to tier 1. Well, tier 1 stays, of course. Then all the ships, if they are present in your port, they're getting sold. With simple, straightforward rules like ships being sold, commanders just go to crew, whatever space, and modernizations just get demounted for free, and that's it. And this is like basically the battle missions you're gonna receive. So after you forget the branch, you get this snowflake battle mission that is gathered by one win on, let's say, Amaha, that gives you like 5 of those and 0 of those. And numbers are complete bullshit. They're just from QA servers, so don't really pay too much attention to them. They are forgotten, so you have to get to them first and then gather this snowflake. This is how it's gonna look for a simpler view. Like, so in this case, the Des Moines line was nuked, and like you see those snowflakes. It's not final design, okay? It's just purple snowflake placeholder. So, and then like you grind it back, and you start gathering those snowflakes, and you receive resources. And why we're doing it? So like. That's kind of the end of how feature works. And let's get to like explanations on how, why, and what happens. So why we're doing it? First, players are running out of mid and long-term goals. And this happens for several reasons. First one, we're 4 years on kicking, and the game kind of gets older, community gets farther and farther in content, and we're kind of running out a bit out of it, at least for certain cohorts. The second thing that led to that is that player activity always exceeds our expectations, and that's something we're very happy about. But at the same time, it kind of kicks us in the back when we are like designing some, new event or ship branch or amount of grind, but players like play 3 times more than we expected, and we're like, oh crap, that's gonna run out fast. So, and like technically, and like the third thing that is not mentioned here is that we actually don't want to change a lot in the current ecosystem. So like technically, like, okay, players grind more than you expect, make new ship branch 2 times more expensive. We don't really want to do that. We want to keep the old system in place how it is. Like the third is that what kind of leads there is that ship branches are the biggest consumer of 3D resources. Like, if you look like, 3-4 branches per year, it's about like, 30-40 ships that has to be drawn, planned, built in 3D, tested, etc., etc. It's very big consumer of 3D resources. And since we don't want to change that and we want to keep releasing new branches, new ships, we kind of capitalizing on like where we're already investing. Then our game is about progression, and it's always been, so new stuff should beat along. And we didn't want to go tier 11, which may sound as another obvious decision, like if players getting all the tier 10s, introduce tier 11. No. It's a whole another nightmare that is unsurmountable, and we may spend another night discussing it, but let's not derail whole presentation because of it. How we came up with the idea. This will also contain some of the reasoning why it is done exactly in this specific way, like with forgetting branches and stuff. And I have a really good flowchart, and I'm kidding, it's just bullshit flowchart. Yeah. Our train of thought was built on several pillars that kind of happened progressively along the time. One of them is snowflakes. That worked really good as a revisiting incentive. We basically introduced minor or not so minor rewards for playing all the ships that you have, like tier 4, 5, like 6, 7, across all the branches. And we got really positive feedback and a lot of positive emotions from players that it actually felt fun to get back to the old ships, to play on them back again, to remember how you've been grinding through them, to get back like a sweet bit of nostalgia, emotions, etc., etc. And second, what I already mentioned, CV rework. It was basically a very binary deal, like you could either stay with what you have right now, or you could forget whole CV branch and get like 700 free XP for that, or 700,000, like, or maybe more, or maybe less. I don't remember the exact number, but it was basically forget and grind it back and get this amount of free XP, or don't do that. And a lot of people were forgetting it, like, okay, I'm taking this. And like grinding is also not that bad. So that kind of, like, if we think about it at a certain level of abstraction, the feature follows this same loop. There is an incentive for regrinding branch back, and like you can do that. Then popularity of Twink accounts, probably well known to you. Like it's not something unique for our core community. A lot of players have Twink accounts. A lot of players have Twink accounts on different regions, on similar regions. They tend to play a lot, and they tend to find some pleasure in like getting back up from scratch again. And like it's probably minor point, and I'm not sure. I haven't been tapping into streams a lot for a while, but it's been a thing before, and I've seen it like that. Various streamer challenges where, like, within a night you play through the whole branch, like on every ship, to get a certain achievements or milestones, and people kind of love that type of content. So that's like what led us to the idea of why it should be done like it is done right now. Of course, the above mentioned design brings some problems along. And the first one is additional strain on economy. Like you're already grinding branches, and you now have to grind more branches probably if you're interested in the feature. So like if I want to enter, I have a certain it's hard for me economically. Several things here. First one, we're already generous. If you look at it, and it's backed by data as well, across the last year and a half, we've been progressively increasing amount of rewards in our economy for various events. We've been adding choices where you can just earn resources and spend them on whatever you want instead of fixed rewards, be it credits, be it premium account, whatever it be, like some special flags on last year's birthday, and it was huge success. Like a lot of players bought crap ton of special signals. We're like gifting them on birthdays, etc., etc. And that kind of essentially leads us to a second point. We are never afraid to be more generous if it's needed. So if we feel that what we already do and what we plan to do is not enough, we will adjust. And we're already doing that kind of. The first step that's gonna happen, no more premium consumables. They turn into free consumables, and free consumables gets removed. And what do you mean? That's how. Basically, that's how your interface gonna look. It's like mad Photoshop skills, but that's how your interface gonna look. So, and it's gonna help a lot, especially with credit income. Just to give you a rough number, if you took all the individual transactions in our game in terms of how many credits players spend on it, the top one credit spender of all time is Premium Damage Control Party. And it beats everything, like literally every other credit thing in the game. And we're giving them away for free. Like in one thing, and it just like when you are losing the branch, you are technically selling ships. And while not many players keep all the branch and they like sell the ships anyway, the fact is still a fact that we're like taking away half of your credits. And since like we technically could just allow you, when you're forgetting the branch, sell them for full price. But then it adds whole another level of like mind games and regrets, where we're like, oh, I should not sell it. I should sell it this way, or I've sold it this way. Why have I done this? Why am I so dumb? I should wait, grind the full branch, sell it, etc., etc. We didn't want to introduced this whole layer of stress and management on players. So it felt like the selling of ships should stay where it is, and we should just buff some other place where it's applicable. So, and to add up on that, we kind of wanted to get rid of free consumables, of this disparity for quite a long time already. Yes, Flamo? No. Free consumables just removed from the game, that's it. So, second concern is obvious, like pay to win and competitive. So first of all, it's like speeding up the grind stuff we've always done. Like I'm sitting at tier 8, player has tier 9, tier 10, he like slaps me, what should I do? Well, grind. Or yeah, you can pay to speed up the grind. And like to avoid excessive use of like excessive monetary use of it, what I mentioned before, we're introducing limit. So you'll be able per season to regrind very limited amount of branches. And we kind of even up the playing field between those who like can just, I don't know, smack the wallet or who can invest time and grind it. Not really, there is huge, the thing is, for certain players yes, for certain players no. The thing is that the amount of times people invest in our game is so dramatically different between like bottom 10% and top 5% that maybe for top 5%, like we've maybe overdone it a little bit. But the thing is that at the same time, we really sped up the progress for those bottom 20 that struggle with it so much. And if you look at the whole picture, it feels that we've done more good than bad. Yep. That's a bit illusional. It's not that fast, and it's just like it only becomes like really fast for, as I said, for the like top 5%, and the worst offender there and like I'm ashamed of that. Worst offender is Clan Wars, because Clan Wars rewarding is really good, and on top of that, it has positive economies for tier 10s, and like those guys, when they earn those rewards from Clan Wars, they can go absolutely insane. Like, what was the number from Jutland to Daring? 9 battles? 6 battles, yeah. So yeah, at this very extreme point, at the very end of the spectrum, yes, it became too fast. But the thing is that it became like also better for the lower activity players, and it's kind of good. It's speeding up grind. Second, as I already said, we have limits on earnings, and it helps us manage accumulated savings. I believe few of those who are sitting here have like 7 bazillion of free XP on your account, I don't know, and like 2 billion credits, and you're like, ha, I'm gonna drop hold my port, level it back, hold my port, level it back, and smack everyone. No. Fun police kicks in. You have like very limited amount of attempts per season, so if you are swimming in resources, it's very like it's more of a like you complete it and you sit and wait while others enjoy it. So the second thing is that like Clan Wars, especially for high end, and it's applicable to any competitive, it's especially for min maxers that play in Typhoon and Hurricane, is always about like entrance barriers. Like first entrance barrier was tier 10, and we kind of introduced rentals at the time to help with it. And especially for min-maxers, when you introduce a new certain maximum, it always becomes not an like nice to have, but an obligation. Like either you have your ship maxed out or get out. And it also puts like a limit on recruiting, on like entrance to Clan Wars. That's why in Clan Wars, like every ship has 3 levels of upgrades. But in Clan Wars and Clan Brawls, only first one gonna work. So second and third won't. And on top of that, as soon as you unlock this feature, and it's getting unlocked as soon as you researched your second tier 10, we're gifting 1 free level for everyone. So you like, when feature unlocks, if you already on your login, if you already have few tier 10s, or when you're getting to your second tier 10 and start and can start playing this feature, we immediately give you free +1. So like I got to my Des Moines, I immediately +1 it, then it's also a limit for Clan Wars, I'm at the top and I'm ready to engage into competitive. And I'm not a liability for anyone. And like talking about the competitive training room may and likely will follow, and it will have an option to like limit this stuff to keep it fair ground for tournaments as well. So, and like to talk about it in general, to put it into perspective, you may look at it at what we did along the years with, let's say, ranked seasons. Like when the game initially released, we had 10 tiers of ships. But first ranked seasons were on tier 5, then like tier 6, 7. So while the maximum point is tier 10, we're not allowing like tier 10 players to beat the shit out of tier 6 players just because they got up there. We're kind of waiting until more and more players get there so they have like more of equal and approachable playing field. So it's not really a concern, it's more of a like side thing that happens. CVs won't have upgrades on release in 8.7, on release of this feature, because for few simple reasons. First, we're still working on AA, and like you just had a presentation and priority sector improvements, etc., etc. So it's like systemic changes to counterplay mechanics. We're also not touching AA in this new feature, so when you level those 3 upgrades per ship, there is no AA improvements there. So like we are keeping this playing field between CV and ship isolated to make sure we balance it out properly first, and then we add something on top. And yeah, like if there are some other systemic changes to counterplay after we do priority sector, and if it's not enough or something, then like we gotta postpone it a little bit more. And I guess that's it. And we can go into Q&A. And one thing, like since probably gonna be, we also have like a rough idea on how those exact upgrades gonna look, like those 3 levels of upgrades gonna look. And we can discuss that as well, like Andrei has all the data, but let's do with the round of questions about the feature first in general, and then you can just pile on top of Andrei and start discussing battle bonuses with him. So, questions?
All right, so I've got a list, but I'll just hit a couple and then we'll pass it around. First things question, it's not immediately clear to me, kind of watching the presentation, you say you just forget the line. The interface you showed, I'm guessing, is you talk about the season. Is it so this is like a separate interface somewhere in the game where I go for, during this 2-month period I can choose, okay, so there's these seasons are tied to patch cycles, so if like for 2 full patch cycles I can work on 3 lines, and then at the end of that time if I haven't finished the grind I lose that progress, or?
It's not like that. The seasonality limits the amount of branches you can forget. After you forgot the branch, you have all the time in the world to finish it.
All right, so when this drops in 8.7, I can immediately go in and pick 3 branches and go through this process. Okay, and then I have whatever time I want to expend to earn it back. All right, and then 2 more patches down the road, I can then go in and pick 3 additional branches. Okay, all right, that makes sense. How does this work? You said we could do this for premium ships as well, but I can't like forget a premium. So how does that work?
That's the thing with national experience. So you forget like any American ship branch, and you just get American experience that you can invest whenever you want.
Okay, so I would have to. Okay. So then, let's say I wanted to spend that on a premium ship, I can forget this, earn the experience, but I don't have to spend it on the ship that I earned it on. I can spend it on the premium instead. And then if I eventually want to maybe spend it on here, I have to forget again and then re-earn it or something like that?
Yes, and it felt good for 2 ways. First one, it helps like premiums, like, and gives them way to meaningfully interact with this feature. And second, what we see at Legendary Modernizations, it can be a real like strain to play like repetitively same ships again and again. It's more about regrinding and getting back to different various ships. And so we kind of like split the way of earning and the way of investing, and we just loosely made a boundary of nation. So if you want to level up your Montana, for example, you don't have to regrind BBs all over again, one time, second time, third time. You can like play through gearing line, then through booster line, and then you can invest
and
it
then
all
you can invest it over
in Montana, into
Okay.
Sims Atlanta, whatever.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember Henry. So you can't do this when you grind a line the first time. You have to get all the way to the end and then sell it back to even start this process. Okay. And then this kind of ties on to something Flambas was saying. Like we have right now when you guys used to be introduction of new lines was a lot of this mid-tier content. But now we get all these missions that sometimes we don't even really have to work for that we skip huge chunks of the line. It feels like this is kind of really awkward. Like we're basically saying, yeah, there's not much mid-tier content, but we're being offered all these ways to skip past mid-tier content anyway. So I guess it feels like there's a disparity here. I don't know. Yes, no? I mean, you guys, it feels like we're trying to solve a problem that we could be solving by like not giving away free mid-tier ships every time we drop a new line. Sort of?
So it kind of, you are kind of right. Two things here. First one, it's very uneven for like different cohorts of players. So like there is of course a certain cohort that gets every event for like tier 8 immediately, but it's super small. So vast majority of players, they start when we get into this early access stuff, they start with like tier 5 or tier 6 top.
Right. Hello. This account kind of looks like mine in the sense of free XP. I also have millions and millions and millions. My question is, can you use the free XP to speed up this grind?
Like it works. The grinding back branch works exactly the same way like you've done it the first time. And just to make sure, like your account can't immediately like earn shit ton of stuff, we limit it by season. So you can do your attempts and you can skip them with free XP if you want to skip the gameplay and just get the resource, but then you just sit there and wait until we're allowed to do it again.
So when a new season is out, I could theoretically just dump free XP on it and get all the rewards instantly?
Yes, within the limit of season.
Okay, the second question, I don't know if you specified how strong these buffs are going to be?
We're going to discuss this after. Like, Andre going to show you the bonuses after this first Q&A round, and then you'll proceed.
Then never mind, I'll see it now.
Instead of forcing the grind, did you guys ever consider just saying, hey, you need X amount of XP per ship, and you can do it at your own pace, rather than, hey, re-unlock?
The thing is, then it kind of loses a lot of the feeling what comes with a Twink account when you're getting through this range and you have a good ship, bad ship, ship you like, ship you hate, but it's kind of an experience in itself. And if you're just putting a random battle missions on random ships, you're just going to grind your 3 favorites, and it's not like we're bringing
your rewards are tied to having done all of them, so you will still need to do them, but at your own pace.
Yes, but again, like the thing is that you're not getting back to experience of getting through it back again. You're gonna just cherry pick your favorites and do it within the limits until you're or either out of options or I don't know.
Don't you think the people who want to do it in order are way fewer than the people who want to do it anyway?
Not really. I mean, we wouldn't do a feature if we wouldn't see in data that there is a good enough chunk of audience ready for it.
Okay, so if I understood this correctly, I will need to pick for each nation at least one line and start from the super small, I don't know, is it tier 1 or tier 2? And then work my way to tier 10. And then let's say the tier 10 is the one that I want to collect enough. And then I can use from that tier 10 to everything else, correct? But at least one line I will have to grind through.
To get some resources, yes.
Yeah. So you will make players buy at least one entire tech tree line per nation. And the number one problem that people have with today's grind is buying ships. Because they don't have credits.
Silver, and that's why we're removing premium consumables.
That's going to be enough to buy 9 ships?
Premium, like...
But you have to grind through at least one line.
Yes.
What are you going to do without the resource?
I'm not sure. Maybe I misunderstood the question. Can you repeat it? Like, what's the...
Do you have to go through the entire tech tree line, which means rebuying every ship. Like I want to go with USDDs, for example. I will have to buy Samson, Wicks, Clemson, Nicholas, and grind through each one of them.
To get those snowflakes after you've forgotten the branch? Yes.
Snowflakes on Omaha, that's what he can do. He doesn't have to.
Yes,
you don't
he can stop there. Like every snowflake gives a bit of resources, so you may do it at your own pace. Stop somewhere, I don't know, wait a bit.
If you just care about getting snowflakes from, I don't know, Omaha and Pensacola, you're free to do that. You don't have to buy the rest if you don't want to play them. It's just, if you want to collect those resources from them, yes, you need to buy them.
I'm basically going to come back to what I said before. Yes, you are selling ship and you're selling them at half price. Two things. I kind of explained why it felt very weird to sell them for full price rather than buff some other sector of economy. And second, a lot of people sell them anyways. Like if you look at average players that collects tier 10s, he probably has like tier 10 and like favorite tier 7 sitting in the port and nothing else. So he's not losing much on the selling of the ships. But when you're getting back through it, yes, you gotta get silver, buy ship, get a snowflake, and get on going.
Okay. So my question is about the you got a ship and you have already some experience on it. EXP on it. So when you forgetting the line, where does this go?
Same as it was in CV, it goes back to start of the branch. So if you have like 5 million of experience on Minotaur sitting there and you're forgetting this branch, it all goes to
tier 1.
Tier 1, yes.
Okay, so that doesn't relate it to the new resource you get. No.
Sorry?
It won't relate to the new resource you got. So if you have like 10 million on Minotaur, so you say everything goes to tier 1, but it won't affect the new resource?
No, it won't.
No? Okay, thank you.
Like the only previous resources that will accumulate, kind of help you with grind is the same stuff as helps you when we release new ship branch, like free XP and credits basically. And again, coming back to what I said, knowing that especially like I have a very like target audience for it here, sitting with zillions of silver and free experience, to make sure it's manageable and we don't have huge disparity. And like we still have a lot of stuff in game to play. We're introducing limits, so you're kind of your hands are a bit tied in terms of using your 5 billion of free experience.
Okay, just a couple of questions. One, you mentioned that the first upgrade would be available for clan battles only, yes, and you cannot do the second or third upgrade. Will the same be true for ranked?
Nope.
So ranked, I could do all 3 upgrades and get whatever the bonuses will be and have that impact my game in a ranked battle.
If you want to absolutely like max out your performance in ranked battles, then technically yes.
Okay. Second question, I understand how to accumulate resources and all that. Will I have a limited time to spend those resources, or can I spend them whenever I want?
You can spend them whenever you want. Like the only thing that we're controlling on our end is limits for forgetting. You can then earn it back whenever you want, spend it whenever you want. The only thing we limit is the speed of, like the amount of branches you can forget per time unit. Yes. How far, not how fast you accumulate, how fast is your theoretical possibility to accumulate resources.
So you're giving me more resources that I can accumulate and hoard. So thank you for that.
Okay.
So I'm a little confused. I think you use it hypothetically, but when you forget a line, I did see credit values. So you don't, for your normal carousel, when you forget a line, those are sold? Or do they stay in your normal carousel and these are considered different ships?
No, everything is just sold.
Oh, it is just sold. Okay. So then you have to rebuy them, then that would then take up a port slot and everything like that. Is that going to affect our reserve? Are we going to get increased reserves because all those captains will then be thrown there?
It will go over limit.
Okay, yeah. Also,
there is no like deficit in free bursts among those users who will be using this feature.
So Is then like the points 1, 2, and 3 then going to be time gated, or could I grind USN battleships, USN destroyers, USN cruisers, then immediately get my DM to level 3?
The thing is that it's gonna be you're gonna have an overall limit per season and also a national limit.
Okay.
So if an overall limit is 3 and national limit is 1, you can forget one branch in 3 different nations.
Okay.
And since only a fraction of experience is free, something around like 15%, and you can't convert your national experience into free, you have to go wide. You can't throw everything into one branch and get this like top tier ship.
So is it going to be pretty much forgetting one entire line equals 1 point, or is it going to be
Kinda.
okay? It's going to be relatively close.
Like numbers not finalized yet, but it's
Yeah.
loosely like that.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Just one small thing. Could you maybe give us an example of what, like, sort of the bonuses or whatever is going to look like?
We're gonna get to it.
Okay, you're gonna get to it. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, I know.
We
I
could do
just
that now, so
like
we can have more questions after.
Yeah, the thing is that the thing with battle bonuses, we thought about putting it into the middle of presentation, but then we felt that like it will be completely derailed from this point onwards. So let's like talk about how this feature works in general. If you have any more questions, and then we'll get to like Holy War of Battle bonuses. Yeah.
Questions?
Okay. Any more questions? Yep. Yeah. Legendary. There is. The question was about how legendary upgrades stack with that. There is obviously some sort of like, though they theoretically work in slightly different directions, there is an obvious conflict between those. Like, we're gonna resolve it. We're thinking about it right now. But like, I can't announce any specific plans right now. But it's a problem that we know about. We just don't have solution we're ready to present. For now, they're gonna likely stay where they are, like they are on the ships. Like we want a new one. We won't like do anything. We'll announce how it'll be resolved. Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, and it's also about this as well. Like like legendary modernizations, this thing, and it's all like stacks up together. At some point, we gotta not only add new stuff, but remove some of the previous stuff to make sure the experience is like manageable and like more understandable. I don't know, streamlined. So like, there is a chance that legendary modules will disappear with some sort of compensation.
Is there a way to, will you have a way to visually show that you and the ship that you're piloting will have 3, the third
in the battle, like in the enemy team, for example. Okay, so that's probably the last question I'm gonna ask, and we'll go to battle bonuses because it's about that. So the thing is no, but it's not like we're not discussing. We've not discussed it. We're just kind of inheriting our legacy solution. So if you look at our current, how it happens, if you take into account difference between, let's say, stock tier 9 against top tier 9 with 19-point commander, with all the modernizations, special modernizations, with all the premium consumables and battle flags mounted on top, it's insane difference in power. And this new feature is actually smaller than that in terms of bonuses, and that's why we're going to get to them. And that's why we are... that's why we're kind of just inheriting this decision. It's not that huge, like your ship doesn't turn into like tier 12 Montana or something to like throw it to the face when we're not throwing the rest. And on the other side of the deal, we're also evening the difference quite a lot with removing free consumables, because there's quite a hefty difference there. So we, like at this point, we don't feel it's needed. Our stance may change as we go on and on and on. And we see how people level those, how players earn those. But as of now, like, we don't feel there is a need to.
Right. My line of thinking was to this last season of Ranked, where rental ships were brought in, and people started turning on their teammates for taking a rental because that identified them as probably not having the top, like you were talking about. That's why I was asking about having any sort of delineation in the game.
No,
I actually would prefer not to have any sort of delineation in the game, so that I don't look at my teammate and say, oh, well, this guy's going to cost me the game.
Well, our line of thinking here is that if the like battle bonuses would be so huge that it would mean dramatic change in experience on how you play against this ship or how it works, that we have to inform you, then we would have probably done that. But it doesn't feel that way. And let's get to battle bonuses then.
Okay, about battle. Okay, let's go to battle bonus. First of all battle bonuses are designed as multipliers, so on they provide person bonus, not additional bonus, to make this bonus to boost different ship equally. The bonuses are common for classes, so on all battleships while boosting will provide the same bonuses, but all cruisers will get another bonus. Will get another bonus across all tiers. Yeah, according to multiplier, it's okay because increasing rate of fire is good for Fuso and for Yamato. It's the same boost for them. The second our baseline was that these bonuses should provide comparable, thank you, bonus to good perks or good modernizations, good upgrades, which we already have in upgrade system and in perks, contain perks. So on. First level of these upgrades will provide to all classes kind of survivability, increasing their survivability. It will give them a different boost of HP pool, about 10% for destroyers, for cruisers, probably 15% to battleships. All numbers are not final, of course. It's just understanding the scale of changes. It's a good boost on the first tier. For destroyers, their HP pool isn't their main thing. So on, we additionally give them repair speed of their rudder and engine. The second level will provide slightly above their attackability, and it will provide less ellipse size for battleships, for cruisers. Slightly about 10%. It's not really huge bonus, but it's comparatively good. And increase attack speed for destroyers, as I can remember, slightly about 5 or 10%. We have no any slides about this because first of all, every numbers are not final. It's our vision of scale of the bonuses, and it can be the second thing, we have no this slide because every bonus are just during discussion and can be changed and can be erased because we have a lot. Okay. To do it. Stop. We already have kit here. Okay. About BB plus 15% HP. A plus 10% HP and rudder time or other time. It's kind of upgrade. Plus one upgrade. And for DD, it will be plus 10% HP, decrease rudder repair. boost in repairing rudder and engine. And something like this. Yeah? Cruiser. The question was where are battle cruisers? Battle cruisers are cruisers according to the icon. The second one I already can't remember, so it's additional bonus. It's we really set all bonuses that you can get from upgrades, from perks, and choose about from 1/3 to 1/2 of these bonuses, and move them among this feature. It's just about part of your additional upgrades and perks set. Of course. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, I don't know. Ellipse. Yeah, it's survivability, it's attackability. How to say it, ellipse size? Ellipse size is an understandable thing. Dispersion. No, it's not dispersion. It's not sigma, it's ellipse size, it's physical. We have mass dispersion, okay, thank you. Okay. Because dispersion for me is kind of sigma, but it's not about sigma, it's about decreasing of this ellipse size. Mass dispersion, okay, thank you. And minutes 10% to mass dispersion. It's bigger than these upgrades. And boost for secondary. Nope. You think that it's too huge? There is cooldown. About 10% cooldown. Yes, of course. For both torpedoes and artillery. And the third one is kind of survivability for battleships and cruisers, and attackability for destroyers because they have not enough attackability. It's about minus 5 or 10% to consumables. Reload. And probably kind of yes. Boosted jack of all trades. It can be 5 or 10%. We didn't decide it. Every numbers can be really moved on each side. I guess decreasing. Here is consumables again. And plus 1 all consumables. Differently done. And then here is very raw torpedo damage. 10%. Kind of this, and I don't know if it can be sure. I don't know how it can be. About 10%, probably something. This, yes. You should take the microphone.
So can you please explain to us these three tiers of upgrades? You said they will stack. You will have all of this.
Yes.
No further questions.
As we said, it's about 1/2 of your boost from your models, from your consumables, from your perks, and from your upgrades. It's really less than all these things, about 3 times.
Okay, I probably had the same question if the bonuses are stackable, so they are stackable, as I understand. But you give bonus, but you don't give any minus.
Yes, because it's pure boost. It's designed as pure boost, not decreasing anything. Yes.
Well, I would understand. So let's say you have legendary module. Yeah? You give some plus, let's say on rate of fire, but you have a lower turret traverse.
Yes, legendary upgrades are trade-offs. Here is not trade-offs. It's a pure boost.
Just you are just boosting.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
Wow.
Leave.
I would expect, let's say, boost something. Let's say you pick up 15% HP plus, but you will be, let's say, slower. You stack another maximal dispersion, but your reload will, be slower by 5 or 10%. Yeah, just to make some kind of combination or customization of your ship, because it will be plus.
Yes, because it's not about customization of your ship. You can customize your ship with your consumables, with your perks, with your upgrades, with battle signals, etc., etc. This is not about customization. It's just about get your already customized ship and get a boosted variant of this ship.
Okay.
Guys, if you're okay with what's happening and you want to get lunch, go for it. Just saying.
Okay. First of all, just wow. Last night I had the first experience ever with like Russian vodka. I think tonight I need another one after this because my mind can't handle this right now. But I have one question. We already have sort of this problem where you have sort of older, experienced players who are able to club the living shit out of the newer players. And you guys have done things in the past to say, okay, guys, don't club the newer players. Now you want to give us a bigger club. I can't do this anymore. Like, why do this? This is my question. Like, why even start thinking in this kind of direction is the way to go to create an even easier way for us, having been sort of experienced players, to go ahead and abuse the players who are just playing through the tech tree line the first time around?
First of all, we decrease this effect that you mentioned because we cancel premium consumables. We get a lot of information and statistics, and according to this, players just without that consumables already get incredible opposite to bonus negative effect, and all this negative effect it's bigger than all these boosts altogether, stacked altogether. So on after a while, then we'll get several people who already have 3 level of the system upgraded ships. The difference between these, third tier destroyer and destroyer with or without premium consumables, with consumables this difference is bigger. So on, we decrease this gap with releasing both these features. This gap is already huge. We make a huge decrease in this gap with consumables, and revert part of this huge decreasing with these bonuses.
It will happen, but like at some more faraway point in the future, while what Andre says about and we're shortening the gap with premium consumables, it gives immediate effect. And like probably by the time you have +3 ships, the seal you want to club already like having +1 and working on +2 as well.
That was actually going to be my question: is how long do you estimate until the first players will be reaching level 3 captains? Long?
Long.
Well, even if it will take a lot of time, I still don't get the idea or why to do this thing. Yeah, because if I want to play something on torpedoes, I will go for Shima. If I want to play something with smoke, I go for gearing. Okay, it's another different, let's say, game style. Yeah, but if you give the same bonuses for the same ships, what's the purpose? Yeah, I was thinking, let's say, let the player choose how would he like to customize his ship. Yeah, because you give the same things to all the kind of ships. Yeah, for example, let's say I would like to play gearing much more on torpedoes or whatever. I pick up the module, but I won't get the bonus from reload. Yeah, so I would expect that you get the opportunity you get 15% HP, but you get some minus.
Yeah, they like I know if Andre said this before, but the thing is why the bonuses are broad and just blanket is exactly because what you're describing. So after you've got your Shima to +3, let's say, it doesn't become Khabarovsk. So it's not like becoming an artillery monster. It has expected performance, expected like uniqueness in its playstyle that is both known to you and the guy who is playing in like against you. And like if we allow like to customize Shima into Grozovoi, into Khabarovsk, or into like Yu Yang, why do we even need different ships then? They all become kind of same.
Okay, but I don't get the point. I have two players, one Unicum in Montana, second one is Potato in Montana. Yeah, probably the Unicum will have additional bonus with this. He will get, let's say, 3 upgrades. The second one won't have any upgrade. What's the purpose, the reason to give me additional bonus against anyone that didn't have enough time or patience to get such bonus? I want to, if I play against another player, he has the same opportunity with the ship as I. So it depends on my game playing style or my experience. But if I get, let's say, additional bonus, yeah, based on the time I spend on the game, I don't think it's okay.
But it's already there everywhere. Like, we already have this with Commander. Like, you have 19-point Commander in Montana, the guy against you has 0-point Commander in Montana. And oh my god, the difference between you two. Okay. It's not even comparable to what we're showing here. Like, all these superintendents, minus 10% invisibility, like, all those, like, 1 less fire, everything. And then maybe this guy also doesn't have enough silver for modernizations, and probably will help this problem a bit by removing consumables. And you have all them, and you have minus 10% extra visibility. And he has no chances. And you're Unicum on top.
Okay, but you are making the gap even bigger.
No.
No?
But that's kind of what Andre tried to describe. That first thing, we're evening it out from the other end by removing consumables, which actually makes the gap significantly lower. And second, since it's not like really gapped by skill or by money or a lot by anything specific, it's just about grind. So the guy that... So actually, like, if you think about it, like, if the guy can't afford, I don't know, premium time to constantly play on premium consumables, he's constantly at disadvantage. Always. Here, he can just, in a bit slower pace, grind to those bonuses, so by the time you get to +3, he already has +1, and he also has free premium consumables on top, so the gap is actually lower.
But answering your question on why, as I mentioned in my yesterday presentation, on why, I mean, one of the main reasons behind this feature is to stay Unicum player. who've got all of your tier 10s or all of your favorite ships in the game, might be not tier 10, to give you more thing to grind for, to keep you in the game actually, to give you more goals within the game.
And the other reason is that we already have 300 ships plus in the game that have relatively unique playstyles, at least some of them have significantly more different playstyles than others. And literally everybody in the player base anyway has their favorite ship with their favorite gameplay, and they have a fantasy of making that ship stronger. That's literally the psychological reason behind the feature.
Do you think you're going to be able to balance 300 ships with such generalized upgrades? You're literally giving tier 2 American the same upgrade that you're giving to IGN tier 10 or tier 7?
Yes.
How? How is that going to...
Just percentage bonus to everything.
You genuinely believe that such a boost to everything is not going to throw majority of the ships out of balance?
If there will be exceptions, we will fix them. But I think that there will not be a lot of exceptions. There will be comparatively good amount of bonus for each ship in the game. I draw a small picture. This is current world which we have skilled players and the fresh player. After release of this feature and after removing free consumables, new buy will already have a very huge jump, and this gap between these two guys will be less between new buy and new extremely boosted players according to this feature. It's what I want to say. We measure this gap and we taking care to decrease this gap because this feature provides us the ability to give this gap.
Just one quick question regarding the grind. Like disregard the upgrades right now. Are the grinds going to be exactly identical? Like if the Pensacola needs 50,000 and 500 experience, once I forget the entire line?
Yes.
Exactly the same.
Exactly
and
the same
modules
amount of
and
experience.
upgrades and everything.
Yes.
I think a lot of us are thinking that every one of our ships is going to be level 3, and this is going to be a decent little grind. Do we have an idea? Obviously, it's going to be in seasons. Do we have an idea of how many maybe yearly points we're going to be able to unlock? I think a lot of people here are like, oh man, all of my ships are going to be level 3, and I'm going to just shit on people that have not the upgraded captains.
About time? Asking about time?
Yeah, so like one of the seasons was we can get probably 3 levels to put on whatever ships we want. How many would we get in a year?
We have no final numbers yet, of course. Everything is in work in progress. But we don't want to rush with this system, and we expect that it will be very slowly depending ships. And we can't imagine that we will get more than several players with three times upgraded ships in half or 1 year. It will be very slow pace of developing on this feature and getting this resources, experience, and upgrade your ships. We don't want to rush anything.
So, yeah, I can understand that's basically why you want to do this. But my question is okay. My question is that like for each kind of the upgrade, do you offer options? So it's like if, for example, I choose to upgrade my hull, so I can only choose to plus my HP, or I can choose like plus my armor, or I can choose to plus my torpedo protection.
You're asking why here is just boost, but no option? Options about in what? I didn't understand. In upgrade. No, we don't want to get options because we have a lot of options to customize your ship in all other features in game, and increasing the customizability. I don't know if this word exists. We'll get to the bad point then you can build each ship from any another ship. We don't want to allow to build bars from Karagumo, etc., etc. We want to stay each ship with its soul, with its gameplay, with its character. I don't know. So on here is only pure boost without choosing to allow build your own ship from your choosing 10 tier, or not 10 tier, probably it can be Fuso, your favorite Fuso. Build your customized build from your ship and pure boost this ship, this build and avoid these options.
One set of bonuses allows us to actually balance this stuff. If we have multiple sets of bonuses, then it becomes progressively more difficult to balance this correctly. So for the beginning, we for sure want to stick with this. If this feature is super successful in the long term, we may think about additional ones.
Well, I was just thinking if it won't be stackable if you would pick up just one of those three. It could be understandable for me, yeah, that you have another option how to, let's say, a little bit customize your ship according your game style. What do you like to play for the role? Yeah, in, let's say, in Destroyer, you think you need an additional consumable, so we want to pick a HP pool. Yeah, but you go for those consumable. So I would understand, but stacking this seems to me a little bit much.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for questions.